Number 8E, we have safety plans for the building. I'd like to get a motion and a second for the safety plans for the building, for all buildings.
I move we approve the safety plans for all buildings.
Second, all right. Mrs. Circle?
Actually, that's Mr. Long.
It was everything that Mr. Long has went
Yes.
over. We are just approving it at this point. Were there any other further questions for Mr. Long? I'm assuming no. Okay. All in favor of 8E, safety plans for all buildings, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 8F, we have I need a motion for the TransFinder software contract for transportation of $10,400 for the first year. And then after the first year, the annual fee will be at $4,650. I'd like to get a motion in a second to discuss that.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the TransFinder bid for the first year $10,400 and the annual fee of $4,650 the following year.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Circle, do you have extra input on this?
Actually, we've got Ms. Stigers here and Mr. Short. Explain what this is.
So the TransFinder software, this would replace an existing software we have now. It's called VersaTrans. We've had it for 10 years, roughly. It's been a while. We actually, prior to VersaTrans, we had TransFinder, an older version of what they had. I believe back then Ross decided to make the switch to VersaTrans. Since then, it's been basically the exact same software for the last 10 to 12 years. It's not the most friendly. It takes a lot of time to work with any of the data, and it doesn't work with Skyward at all. So any transfer of data between Skyward and the current system we have is all manual and takes a lot of people's time. And it's between me, Laura, Ross, the different secretaries of the different buildings, all confirming and double checking all the data. It's a lot of time right as school starts. This system will connect directly with Skyward. It does nightly imports and exports with Skyward, so they're both completely up to date at all times. So if a new kid enrolls at any point, within about 24 hours, they're on a bus route, potentially automatically, as long as we set that up in the maps. We can set up zones, so if somebody moves into a house and their kid decides to go here, it automatically puts them on the best bus, the perfect stop they need to be on, and nobody has to do anything other than just validate that it looks okay. So it's considerably better. It also, in terms of other schools that use this software, it's, as far as I'm aware, the most widely used software with schools. The one specifically, I know Ross has talked to someone at Ben Davis. This is what they use, so I imagine if it works well for Ben Davis, it'll probably work pretty well for us. There are also the prices that were listed, that's kind of our max. We have been discussing getting rid of a couple options. There's about $2,000 for some extra maps for Tippecanoe County. If I remember correctly, I think we have 3 students that are there. They can be handled manually if we need to, but we're kind of deciding that, so we may save some money in that portion. And there's an additional feature that we're also still deciding whether we would like. It's called Viewfinder. It lets other people see it without being able to change data. That's again another about $2,000. So right now we're just asking to check the max in case we do decide to move forward with it. This won't be happening immediately. To be fully transparent, we're looking at probably January. And then at that point, that'll give us a couple months for onboarding, and then being ready for basically summer school. And if we're not ready for summer school, we can use VersaTrans until then, and then fully have this one prepared and ready for the next school year. So, do you have anything to
Not really.
add? I didn't leave you a lot of room.
It's all right. Transferring 1,200 children or whatever our number currently is a lot of work, but.
And it is really cool. We saw a demo, the ability to the way that you can map the students is as simple as you see dots on a map and you circle them, and now they're on that bus. And it has optimization features. If we lose a bus driver, we can take them out of the list, press a button, and it reorganizes the entire map in about 15 seconds. And reroutes everyone and makes the buses equal sizes. We can make sure there's caps on how many seats. It's just, compared to what we have, it feels light years beyond, so.
This is a 2-year contract.
I believe it's just a 1 year.
It's just a 1 year.
But they gave us
but
the
you can
renewal
renew
price.
for
Yeah,
each year.
yeah.
So it'll be renewed every year.
Mhm.
The initial
Yeah,
price is
recently.
less than Versatrans was, but the ongoing renewal is slightly more than what we paid now.
Yeah.
So let's give us capabilities of those students being picked up at one spot in the morning, delivered, needs to be delivered to a different place. And that one is basically just flip the switch if somebody decides becomes a walker or something like that.
Yeah, it's, like I said, it's really quick, and you can set up maps that are just basically color-coded. So if somebody moves in and enrolls, they're on that bus and ready to go. So,
We tried to call the place that we have now, and we couldn't even get through to a customer service rep or anything to try to get some more assistance with what we currently have. It's not their forte anymore. We're at the bottom of the list as far as school transportation goes. They're into other bigger, better things, so.
Does it work while mobile?
just like on your phone.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a good use case for mobile for what we're trying to do, I suppose. They do have other pieces that we could get down the road where, you know, there's a lot of tracking and all of that, but there's several steps we'd have to take before we could get to anything like that where mobile would be something we'd want to use. But for right now, it would just all be desktop to actually set up the bus routes themselves. So.
Okay. The first year cost is a lot of training support.
Yeah, I believe it
They
comes with
offered
6 months.
6 months one-on-one training support.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion on 8F, the TransFinder Transportation Software Contract for $10,400 for the first year? Any renewal after that is $4,650 per year.
When would this start?
They're wanting to start in January, the training, and then hopefully integrate it into the summer. All right. All in favor of 8F, the TransFinder software contract for transportation for $10,400 for the first year and the annual fee of $4,650 every year after, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 8G, I'd like to get a motion and a second for the approval of these new positions, the custodial maintenance / athletic facilities worker, and number 2, the DCHS 8-hour cafeteria worker.
I move we approve the new positions, G1 and 2.
Second.
All right, Mrs. Circle, do you have extra input for this?
I'm guessing we're gonna have questions, so, I've got Mr. Valenta, Mr. Sims, and possibly Mr. Dale for G1. Amy's on there for G2, I'm guessing Amy's the one who's possibly gonna speak about that. We have questions.
Well, let's start with the custodial maintenance. Are there any questions to what we've got going on here? Mr. Sims, would you like to explain this maybe up front?
So for a number of years, there has been a need definitely for someone on the perimeter of our buildings to actually do some work that improved the appearance, that got us back to where we used to be when I got here like 9 years ago. That has not been an easy process to go through. Obviously, we're short on custodial people, and I think one of the things that Chris has been fighting, I've been fighting, and I know Chip has been fighting, is to try to get some help on the exterior. This isn't just athletic at all. This is weeds, trimming trees, doing painting on the perimeter, and then during inclement weather, obviously bringing that person inside to do stuff inside that's not getting done because we're just basically understaffed. So we've gone through this process of trying to appoint people to do things, and it hasn't worked very well, and so the three of us sat down and came up with the idea that we just need to throw it out there and add a new position, and if some of our custodial staff wants to apply for that position, so be it. We'll interview them and go from there, but hopefully we find somebody, once it's approved, that changes the perimeter of our property. So that's basically what it's about.
Is this a direct report to you?
It'd be a direct report to Chris, I, and Chip, all three.
Will they do a lot of mowing?
Potentially. I mean, I think, and I don't know what kind of condition our mowers are in. I know at one time what they were in because I used to use them a lot. But I think that's a potential for sure.
We used to have somebody that did our mowing and did that. I think Henry did a lot of that too over the years. Couple questions.
Yep.
So, being with also with the athletic part, what do you look at their percent of time, and then how's wages? The other part, then when you're starting to look at the split of athletics versus the other, how is that being paid? Part of it coming out of the athletic fund, or is it going to be absorbed all through the corporation as just an employee? To make sure we keep things square with that type deal. I mean, I don't disagree with the mowing part. I would look at that because that would definitely be a cost savings, but.
Okay, so my perspective goes all the way back to 2014 when I was the athletic director. So when I first walked in here, I literally, as the athletic director, did very little labor, very little. I mean, it was minimal. I basically would show up at a facility and the soccer field was lined, it was mowed, it was ready to play, da-da-da-da-da. That all went away probably about my 5th year, and didn't change through COVID, obviously. And it was none of that was ever paid for by athletics. It was always done by custodial staff at some point in time. That has dissipated. Chip has found himself, and I can defend him on this, he has found himself doing more physical labor than what he should be doing. Not that he doesn't enjoy driving a tractor, because he does. He grew up on one like I did. But my point is that there's so many other things that have to get accomplished that just takes away from what he should be doing. And I think Chris and I and Chip all had a great conversation about the ability to be able to share this person to do everything that needs done. There's so many things that Chris wants done that is just appearance alone on all of our buildings, inside and out. And there's so many things that our concession stands are not getting the proper care that they need to get taken care of for Chip. Chip has been lining the fields pretty much by himself most of the time. And as the old athletic director, I can tell you, that's okay if it's a baseball or softball field. But when it comes to a football field or a soccer field, it takes hours and hours and hours to do it. So, as the old athletic director, no, I don't think it should come out of the athletic department fund at all. But that's just me, because it's a minimal amount of money that the athletic department has to begin with. So, this person would be used heavily for a lot of things that all of us would be proud of.
Kevin, couple things.
Yeah.
So I would revise the job summary here because it does not say reports to you.
Yeah, it's got Chip and Chris's name on it probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then what, it's 260 days,
yeah,
40 hours?
yeah.
Is there overtime rates during the events, or does he adjust his hours so that he's here during events?
No, I think we will figure out the hours ourselves based on need, you know what I mean? Like if we have, and you've witnessed this, Steve, as well as anybody has, when we have a baseball sectional, we will find those 40 hours to be part of that tournament play. This also will give us the ability to put, to kind of separate our custodians again and put somebody back in an evening event to help us in the gym, which right now we basically are without. We're just trying to mend pieces together to make things work, and it hasn't been easy. That would include things like tomorrow night. We have the National Honor Society all together tomorrow night for the induction, and you know, we really, the commercial people have done a really good job, but they aren't there to deal with and, you know, events that we have going on a nightly basis. And this will give us the ability to be able to move some people around and do what we need to do, and not have to pay overtime to be able to do that.
Steve, did you have anything else? Were you good?
No, this is something we've needed for several years. I agree wholeheartedly on this.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Sims. Any other questions or conversation about this? Okay. Moving forward, all in favor, oh, wait a minute, we've got to go, sorry. One more. The DCHS 8-hour cafeteria worker position is, did you say Amy is going to talk about that?
So I don't see Amanda on there anymore.
Does anybody have any questions about adding this position to the cafeteria?
So why are we adding a person?
She should be in your packet. She wrote a letter.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
but I mean, for the public, I mean,
Oh, okay. Basically, from what I saw from Amy's letter, was they're short-staffed at the high school. And they're piecemealing times because they've got part-time people that cannot work 8 hours. So you're piecemealing people together, and it's not consistent throughout the day. So they're wanting one consistent full-time person, who also, if they're short-staffed in the middle school or the elementary, they can help cover in those positions.
okay, so will that basically take a part-time or a full-time away to make a full-time person? Is that what we're doing?
No,
Or
she's
it's
adding,
additional-
she's
it's
adding a
addi-
position.
Additional to
She's
that?
adding that position.
Okay.
I can try to answer any questions.
Oh, there's Amy. You'll probably say it much better than me, Amy.
Is the starting pay now $12? Is that what we're suggesting the base is?
For right now, it will, like, I think Amanda had mentioned, after so many months, then they would get like the new starting rate, or the $2 pay raise, or I think $2 pay raise, as like an incentive of being there.
I just wondered, it seemed odd that we added $1 after 30 days and then jump it up to the 14 and 6. That extra one step seemed unnecessary. Just my opinion.
She had just mentioned it, not being fair because, you know, starting out at 12, because obviously the people who've been there the longest should get paid the $2 extra. Because, you know, we've done the hard work, and newbies shouldn't because they're just starting. So she wanted to give them something because they weren't getting that $14 an hour. So she wanted to give them the dollar after about I think she said the 30 days, and then at the end of the school year or something, we actually discussed it exactly when, but then they would go up to the 14 like everybody else.
So what would you do if you open it up and you have a current staff member apply for it because they want to go to an 8-hour day and versus a 4 or whatever they're working? Will they start at that rate or will they start at their current rate?
They'll start at their current rate, so then that means anybody new coming in would start at $12 no matter which position they did. And then they would also get the dollar raise after the 30 days, and then the 2 whenever Amanda had decided.
Any other questions, comments? All right. Okay, now, I'd like to get a vote for 8G for the approval of the new positions for custodial maintenance / athletics facility worker and the DCHS 8-hour cafeteria worker. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. 8H, Baker Tilly, I'd like to get a motion in a second for the approval to pay them $19,293.36.
Can we get a quick why, what that's on before we make a
For
motion?
professional services rendered in connection with preparation of a comprehensive financial plan and all expenses for this year.
So this is really contained in our bond, a lot of it, right?
Yeah, a lot of it.
Okay.
This is for services conducted this year.
Mr. President, I move to pay Baker Tilly $19,293.36 for services, financial services rendered to us, including some work for the 2023 bond, GO bond.
Second.
Okay, any other input on that, Mrs. Circle? That was basically it, right?
Yeah.
Was there any other questions or concerns with that?
Do we have an hourly rate with Baker Tilly that is established, or how does that part work?
They have hourly rates based off of like partner or associate, that type of thing, so every engagement letter I've seen with them has had that.
Anything else? Okay. All in favor of 8H, Baker Tilly to pay $19,293.36, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We're going to group these two together, 8I and J. I'm looking for a motion in a second for 101 Mobility for a lift for $10,465. This will be paid for by the 2022 611 Part B Special Ed Grant, and then $11,575 will be labor paid by the 2021 bond. And also 8J, Mr. Fensett for $12,769 will be paid for by the RP 611 Special Ed and 2023 611 Part B Special Ed grants. Get a motion and a second, please.
I move we approve 8I and J as stated.
Looks like Mrs. Stansberry is ready to go.
I am. So our,
Oh, sorry.
give me a second, don't you?
You're slow tonight, I tell you, I'm ready. All right.
The lift in the high school media center has been broken for some time, so we have students that are not able to access the library. Some students came to Mr. Sims and actually offered to build a ramp. They found their materials quite costly, and the ramp wouldn't go to the second level either. So we wanted to replace the lift, and the ARP funds were basically like the special ed portion of ESSER funds. So it was for these big kinds of projects. And we started this process last year, and with changes in staff and things like that, we didn't get going on it. And some students very kindly prompted us to get moving again, which was wonderful. I love that they're so inclusive and want to make sure that everybody's needs are met. So we went ahead and ordered the lift because we'd gone through the process of looking last year from the Part B grants. They had to be spent by September 30th. And Mr. Sims and Mr. Valenta will be arranging with them the installation and those pieces. We have our playground equipment coming in for our developmental preschool playground and for our essential skills kiddos at the elementary school. And after much discussion, decided that some fencing around the area would be most appropriate. Some little people are very fast and like to be on the move away from where they're designated to be sometimes. So for safety, we decided to go ahead and put some fencing around that area. Any questions?
Where's that fence gonna be located at?
Right behind the gym area with the, where the soccer field is, there's still gonna be space for the soccer field, but the playground will go between those two big trees and the fencing will go right around that.
It shows on here labor paid by 2021 bond. I thought we had used up all the funds in the 2021 bond.
We had actually budgeted for this last year with Mr. Morrow, and it kind of fell through the cracks, so we did not have it. So I had already set aside money for that. So it's been kind of just sitting there. So we got a new quote. I didn't want to go ahead without putting it before the board again.
Very good.
Any other questions? There, thank you. Okay, all in favor of 8I for the mobility lift and labor, as well as 8J for the Mr. Fenton for the fence around the new playground area, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, number 9, school board information. So we've got some current, past, non-overnight, non-out-of-state field trips there, some of them. So just read through those. There's a lot of things still going on. Some past field trips, we've got some of those listed there. So we just want to make sure everybody sees those. Moving to 9C, we have a public thank you for Mr. Tim Connor for donating 600 mini pumpkins to the DCES students. At this point, we have 2 from the public that would like to make a comment. Tim, you can be first.
All right, thanks. So the pumpkins, they came from the DCTA, the Teachers Association. The Teachers Association found itself in a possession of a lot of pumpkins, and we need to move pumpkins. So we had a lot of people volunteer to help pick them. We're going to get them sorted out. So that's where they're from. We were happy to do it because, man, it's this time of the year, everybody should have a pumpkin. So I just wanted to make sure it wasn't me and that it was the DCTA. So that's it.
Well, I've got a couple at my house now. But I will say my boys carrying them around, so
right.
They're all right with them.
All right, well, we're happy to do it.
Thank you again. Mike Harbeck, this is your time to shine.
Well, I'm in trouble, huh? I'm one of the leaders of water aerobics. The other leader is over in the Middle East trying to find her way home from Israel right now. So that's why she's not here.
I sent a letter last month, it's fairly long. I just want to hit a couple little highlights about water aerobics. Since we restarted after COVID, when I wrote the letter, we had 53 people attend. And just this past month, since I wrote the letter, there's been another 7 people come to us. What's happening with our water aerobics group is it's not a Jane Fonda thing. It's a thing where we're getting referrals from doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, people that have had surgeries on hips and knees and feet, that kind of thing. We're more of a stretch class. I just want to emphasize that we're very thankful to have the use of the pool to be able to conduct this. And I think it's a very important thing for the community to be able to support that. As we go forward to be a good neighbor, we'd like to purchase another set of stairs that are portable. And the cost on that's going to be around $5,000 to $6,000. And we'll do that. We ask for a free will donation from each of our participants of $1 per time. And over time, we will make that money happen. So I'm working with Norma right now, and hopefully sometime this year, we'll have another set of stairs down there. The current existing stairs have been there for at least 20 years. And they've been repaired many times, and they're on their last legs. And they're also extremely heavy to try and move in and out of the pool. We're hopeful to get something that's a little bit lighter. So the other question I've got is for the administration. One of our members' grandson came down with the hand, foot, and mouth disease, and given the age of our group, they thought it was an epidemic in the school system, and all I want is a yes or a no that there's no epidemic of this disease in the school system. That's all I need. I mean, I'm dealing with people that are, let's see, sensitive, so I'll just put it there. Are there any questions about what we're doing? We hope after the fall break that we'll still be able to be scheduled. I know that as the students take their time in the pool, that time becomes very limited because of the swim team and also the scheduling. So last year we did it during the lunch hour, and that seemed to work out okay. Any questions?
Mike, how many days a week are you using the pool?
We're Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 o'clock, and we're in there for an hour right now. And we've been doing this for almost, I think, 28 years. There's some of us, I've been there 15 years. We've had people that have been there at least 25. And then we'll have people that'll be there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks as they're doing rehab, and then we won't see them again. So it's a very fluid situation. I never know how many people I'm going to have until I get there. It's one of those things. So it's sometimes we get big numbers, and today we were light because everybody was scared to death of this disease, as the rumors were flying all over the weekend. So anyway, I thank you very much. I thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, future dates. Tomorrow, October 10th, the National Honor Society induction in the DCHS Little Theater is at 7 o'clock. So if you're looking for that, make sure you get out there and see that. October